Next up, we got 6 lies America told me about Europe. Now, after reacting to a couple videos about Europe and about the cultural differences from USA to Europe, I can see that there is a lot of lies that America has been telling us. Or, in other words, a lot of propaganda. Okay? Now, I'm starting to use that word propaganda. Okay? I just learned it 2 videos ago. But we're learning. You know what I'm saying? Now I know what the word propaganda means. So, the propaganda in America is out of this world. All right? So, these are basically exposing all the propaganda in America. So, if you want to see more of these videos, hit the like button, hit that sub button.
Hey everybody, welcome back. International Carl doing another video for you. If this is your first time to my channel, please right now stop and hit the like button. Consider subscribing, and as always, hit me in the comment section, because those that have subscribed to my channel know that I'm always active in the comment section. Now, this video, we're going to talk about a couple lies that the United States pushes into us as Americans growing up. And let's talk about it right now. Let's get to it right now. Lie number 1. This one is a funny one to me, because in the United States, it's always, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're independent, I don't care where you're at on the political spectrum. You're always going to have a politician telling you that
they hate our freedoms, our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech, our freedom to vote and assemble and disagree with each other.
That's right. They hate us for our freedoms. Can you believe that? As if nowhere else in the world has any freedoms.
Right.
Like Europe. You know, in Europe, they act like if you come to Europe, there's just no freedoms. What freedoms do I not have here in Europe?
Now, this is the question I literally just asked last video, okay? Last video, we just reacted to why America sucks at everything, all right? And by the way, I just have made a new channel membership, okay? So that means that you can watch my videos and have early access to each video, okay? You'll be able to watch these videos in bulk, okay? Because usually what I do is sit down and record these videos in bulk and then schedule them out throughout the week. So you will be able to watch the videos ahead before anybody else get to watch the videos. You know, you might have watched this video on Monday and everybody else gets to see the video on Sunday. So stuff like that. You know, we got our own official community that we are building on this channel. All right, so if you want to join the CT Kingdom, hit the link in the description and pin comment.
You know, as these are Western democracies with Western values and culture that has been exported to the United States, and it's become its own thing. Freedoms do I not have here in Europe? You know, as these are Western democracies with Western values and culture that has been exported to the United States, and it's become its own thing. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but freedoms exist here. I'm still scratching my head. What freedom do you have in America that I don't have here? Let's talk about freedom of speech, for example. In America, you have freedom of speech. In the UK, for example, you don't have freedom of speech. What you do have is freedom of expression.
There you go. Nice.
Slight different tweak, but let's give you an example. In America, you can be as racist as you want to somebody. You can walk up to me, walk up to any black person and say the N-word all day long if you want. Where in the UK, you really couldn't do that, because at some point you will cross a fine line of inciting racial hatred. So if you define your freedoms based on your ability to call somebody an N-word or call some Asian American some type of offensive word.
That's right. They do be saying that freedom and like freedom of speech. But you don't have no freedom of speech. We don't have free. If I get on here exposing the elites games and I expose all of their lies and I expose all this stuff and people start actually seeing my videos and they actually start learning from me, What do you think it's gonna do? What do you think is gonna happen? Let me know. What do you think is gonna happen? America is going to silence me. I'm gonna get banned. I'm gonna get yellow marked, age restricted. You know, now suddenly I'm not getting views in the algorithm. All because of what I'm putting into my platform. And they say we have freedom of speech, right? So I should be able to speak on that, whatever topic that I want to speak on. Whatever interests me, I should be able to speak on it. But no. You only going to speak to a degree. Okay? Only to a degree.
An N-word.
Soon you start getting Asian too freedom of speechy, they're shutting it down.
American, some type of offensive word. By all
This is kind of irritating.
You can have that freedom. I don't need that freedom. But other people in America talk about it like freedom for guns. Ooh, guns. They want to take your guns. That. Well, let's see. Here in the UK, can you have guns? Yes. Can you have a rifle? Yes. Can you have a handgun? Yes.
Now, when you didn't watch a video about the gun policy in America, that is something that is a problem. Okay, and it probably will shed light on all the things I'm missing when it comes to learning about America and learning why we suck. The gun laws is a thing I hear about all the time. So,
what does the Second Amendment say in the United States? It's highly regulated. So what is it here in the UK? Guess what? It's highly regulated. There's lots of regulations around what type of gun, where you have to store that gun, where you have to keep the ammunition, what do you have to do for the maintenance of that gun? Highly regulated. So you still have the freedom to have a gun. So if you define your freedoms as being able to have as many guns as you want in America, okay, fine, no argument. But I think that's a lie that they sell, that nobody here has any guns. Not true. Number 2, social housing is a bad thing. It's something that you're supposed to segregate from the rest of the population. So, for example, in America, especially in LA where I'm from, or Southern California where I'm from, social housing, Section 8. Well, that's usually in a separate side of the city, not being seen. I don't even know where it's at, because where I grew up was nothing but beautiful homes, single family homes, no social housing. Where here in the UK, just in Europe in general, it's all sprinkled around you. For example, here in the UK, I live in a beautiful big house, beautiful executive style estate. I have a nice car, but guess what? On this estate and on several new estates, they all have social housing, and they do things that are different in the United States, or that they do here in the UK, that they wouldn't do or they don't do in the United States. You could be on social housing, but guess what? You can partially own that house. So that way you can be on the track. So you can buy 10% of the home, 20% of the home, 50% of the home, and try to get all the way up to 100% of the home like me or you do. So that's a different strategy that they do, so that social housing is good for everybody, because that way the kids get to interact with all people from all social and religious economic backgrounds. And you as an adult get to work and meet and mingle with people.
So social housing, I have to look what that up because I've never heard that before. Social housing. Okay, let's see what this is. Social housing is publicly subsidized, often nonprofit or government managed housing designed to permanently affordable for low to moderate income housing. So yeah, the affordable housing market, that's what he said, Section 8. Okay, that's why he said that. Okay. Let's look at UK. UK social housing offers affordable, secure rental homes provided by local councils or housing associations to help those who can't afford market rates. Okay, so people who are less and have less money, they still help you. Okay, even if you don't have enough money to live in a house and afford rent, they're still going to help you. Okay, they're going to set up social houses, featuring lower rents, greater eviction protection, and eligibility based on need. Wow. Though demand far outstrips supply, right, leading to long wait lists, of course. UK versus USA. Let's see. Social housing in the UK is significantly more prevalent than the US, with roughly 17% of UK households residing in social housing compared to less than 1% in the US. Damn, less than 1%? What do you mean less than 1%? What? While the UK utilizes a broader entitlement-based model for low-income residents, the US relies on voucher-based targeted assistance programs. They always trying to finesse, bro, any way they can. So you can actually own a house in the UK. You can't own no house. You ain't own no Section 8 house in America. You're not owning no house. That's crazy. Okay, now I see what he's trying to say.
And you as an adult get to work and meet and mingle with people from all different backgrounds. I think the neighborhoods are better for it. They're safer for it. Less crime, because guess what? If you're in an executive style estate, well, guess what? You want to keep your home value high. You want to keep it nice and looking new. And that's going to put pressure on the social housing to also keep their house nice, keep the estate looking nice and new and fresh. So I think that's a myth, and I think that's something that should be revisited in the United States. Number 3, in America, they teach you this, that somehow being a hard worker means coming in early, staying late, never taking a vacation, and definitely don't call in sick.
Facts.
That is like the biggest mistake you could ever make, faux pas you can make. I'll give you an example. When I was working for a large airframe manufacturer in the United States, I remember a friend of mine, we wanted to take 2 weeks off and go do something. Our managers looked at us like we were crazy because we wanted to have the audacity to take 2 weeks off. And mind you, we didn't take any days off prior to that. We just wanted to take 2 weeks off in a year so we could go do something. They were like, no, rejected, slim that down to a week. And I'm thinking, isn't that my time off to relax, to recharge my battery so I can come back to work? No. Now, I think minds and hearts have changed a little bit in the United States back from when I started working, back in the early 2000s, or mid-2000s, I should say. But that was a faux pas. Well, here in the United Kingdom and here in Europe, for example, it's encouraged to take time off. You get 20, 25 plus days off in mostly all European countries. I think by law in the European Union, you have to have 20 days off. So it's encouraged.
It's a large, you're supposed to have 20 days off? Bro, I wish I could have 20 days off. What? They let y'all chill at home? Please, like, y'all, please watch my videos so I can move out of US. Please, bro. Please buy my memberships. Please. I cannot live here no more, bro. Please, we have to live in the European Union. We have to, bro. You mean to tell me that I could get 20 days off from working, bro? Really? Like it's nothing. Like it's 20 days off is literally unheard of. Okay? Like you said, you'd be lucky if you get a week. Okay? Not let alone 20 days. That's a whole month. You mean to tell me you get a month off? You get almost a month off of work? A month? What?
To take time off, because either you use it or you lose it. And for example, I think Sweden, if I can find the article, it's on the screen now. But if not, Sweden is actually doing a trial where they're reducing the work hours to 6 hours to see if it increases productivity. Because employers are seeing that the employees are more rested and more focused when they come back to work. Number 4, America sells you this, that capitalism and consumerism go hand in glove. It's like this.
All right, let's look at what the word capitalism means, because I definitely do not know what that means, and I've heard that word a lot. Capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system based on private ownership of the means of production, where supply, demand, and profit motives drive production and prices. Key pillars include competitive markets, voluntary exchange, and limited government intervention. It has evolved from 16th century mercantile origins to various modern forms, including free market and welfare capitalism. Key characteristics: private property. Individual or corporations own assets, such as land and factories. Right? Private property. Okay. Profit motive. The primary incentive for producing goods and services is financial gain, obvious. Market economy. Prices and production levels are set by market competition and not central planning. Market competition, not central planning. That makes sense. They're only trying to make money in the market. They're not trying to plan and, make a plan that they enjoy, a genuine plan that they enjoy, and they're trying to base a business off of that plan, a genuine plan. No, any business that's being ran, they're going to say, I'm trying to make money. Competition. All right, so let's see. Okay, let's look at the types of capitalism. Laissez-faire, a pure free market system with minimum to no government intervention. No government intervention. Welfare capitalism, a system that combines free markets with government intervention, such as regulation, taxes, and social programs to manage negative effects. All right. Companies, trade, and industry are controlled by private owners for profit. I don't really understand this. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't really get this shit, bro. Let's look at some pictures. Y'all told me not to look at no pictures, but I'm finna look at some pictures. I'm like a picture person. The pros and cons of capitalism. The best products for the best price. Innovation is often rewarded. Lacks equality of opportunity and stimulation. What is this, bro? What the fuck? You eating money? This nigga eating money and shit?
What is capitalism? Broadly construed, capitalism is an economic system based on the private ownership of the means of production and their...
So who has the private... Wait, what does they mean by private ownership of the means of production? What does that mean? Like, does that mean that the private ownership... Yeah, private ownership in capitalism is a foundational right of individuals or corporations rather than the state to own, control, and dispose of capital goods, land, and resources to generate profit. It drives economic activity through incentives for innovation, efficiency, and investment. This system relies on legal protection for and free exchange of assets. So that's people. So capitalism is people who... Capitalists own factories, machinery, and raw materials while employees work for wages. Oh. Okay. So capitalism is people trying to make money. So that could be anybody. That could be anybody. Let me look up what the word capitalist means. Individual or entities who own and invest capital, such as money in factories and machinery, and for profit, privately owned enterprises to generate wealth. Working within a free market system driven by supply and demand, they hire labor, take risks, and aim to maximize profit. Right. So is this bad? Is capitalism bad? Now I have to go back to understanding what is he trying to say? Because now I feel like I understand it now. Capitalism is anybody off the street, right? Is it anybody off the street, or is it a specific people? It says individuals. So I would think that you or me could be a capitalist. So I could start a business and then invest in machineries and factories. So say I started a landscaping business. I don't know if you guys know what a landscaping business is, but basically in the U.S., a landscaping business is somebody who, starts a business and they build a factory, get some land, build a factory, and they can start shoveling snow. Hire people to shovel snow. They get a whole bunch of trucks and stuff. A whole bunch of, machinery, ATVs, all that stuff, snow plowers. They get all that. They get people to come in and work for the company, and now they're making money off all the contracts of buildings that's around the city. So they'd go to Starbucks and be like, okay, do you want to get your snow shoveled? And then they give them a package deal of about 3 packages, and they pick one, and then Now anytime it snows, that landscaping company is gonna come shovel the snow, and you can do that with condos, not houses, maybe some houses, but condos, building, plazas, all that. So I don't really know if landscaping is a thing in Europe, because I don't even think you guys is, it might be totally different. But anyways, I think I'm understanding just a tad bit.
Operation for profit. In fact, as Adam Smith, the father of capitalism, also known as the father of economics, said that the essential feature of capitalism is the motive to make profit.
Right. Okay.
As Smith writes, it is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard to their own interest. In addition to the motive to make profit, other defining features of capitalism include capital accumulation, competitive markets, price system, private property and the recognition of private rights, voluntary exchange, and wage labor. Put differently, therefore, capitalism is an economic system in which private actors own and control property in accord with their interest, and demand and supply freely set prices in a way that can serve the best interest of society.
Right. Okay, I'm understanding.
This explains why in a capitalist market economy, decision-making and investments are determined by the owners of wealth, property, or production ability in capital and financial markets.
That makes sense. Now I understand it, because if the capitalists are the ones that have these businesses, so whoever the person that made Starbucks is a capitalist, right? Right? Is a capitalist someone who starts any business? An individual generally defined as an individual who owns assets such as money, property, or factories, and investment in trade or industry to generate personal profit. While starting a business often requires being a capitalist is more broadly characterized by owning the means of production and employing wage labor rather than just acting as an entrepreneur. Okay, we getting somewhere. Key aspects of capitalists include ownership and investment. Capitalists own the means of production, tools, factories, raw materials, and use capital to start or fund business for profit. So that's exactly what a landscaping company is. A landscaper would get money from somewhere else. So now they have capital, which means money. So then they would buy land or buy a building. So now they have a building. So now they have, that's just, so now they're technically a capitalist at that moment. Not really, but kind of. You know what I'm trying to go with it. So they get money from somewhere else. They buy land. They build a factory. Then they get all the raw materials. Then they employ people for wage labor. Then they get big, and now their decision-making investments are determined by the owners of wealth, property, and production ability in the capital and financial markets. Now they're big in this financial market, so now they're one of the people who are at the top of the capitalist game, if that's a thing. Okay.
Relation to this.
So they invest into a company. So I mean, you're basically, it's like an entrepreneur in another kind
financial markets.
Look, I don't know what's the difference between a capitalist and an entrepreneur though.
In relation to this, the prices and distribution of goods and services in a capitalist system are mainly determined by competition in goods and services markets. Thus, in a capitalist economy, capital assets such as factories, mines, and railroads can be privately owned and controlled, while labor is also purchased for money wages. Capital gains accrue to private owners, and prices allocate capital and labor between competing uses. Economists.
All right, man, we got it. Just learn what capitalism is, guys. We're getting somewhere, chat. Ski.
Cycle. You have to work.
All right, so let's see what he talk about capitalism.
America sells you this, that capitalism and consumerism go hand in glove. It's like this cycle. You have to work to buy, to work again to pay for what you buy, and to buy some more stuff, to then work again and go down this continuous loop of working to live. And in Europe, one of the things that I find, I think is a beauty and a benefit of working and living in Europe is that there's more of a work-life balance. As I just talked about in point number 3, is that you have time off to actually do stuff. And you don't just have this endless working to consume. Don't get me wrong. We go on vacation, so we're consuming what I would call, we are consuming experiences, but we don't live to work, we work to live. And that is a benefit of living in Europe, and I think that is great. And I think the US sells a lie to its people by telling them that you have to work hard to then buy stuff and never do anything. Number 5, which kind of ties into the first one I said, but it really is on the Republican right side in America. They always preach, especially during the Obamacare era, 2012, was all about these death panels. They literally produced a video where they were throwing grandma off a cliff because of social medicine.
Make no mistake about it. President Obama and the Democrats who supported Obamacare began throwing seniors off the cliff back.
The evils of social medicine, that you were going to have death panels if you got sick. I mean, how ridiculous of a lie that is. I mean, it's a bold-faced lie. I've lived here 11, 12 years. I have yet to ever see a death panel. I have known some older people. I know some younger people. I know myself. You can walk into any hospital in any country in Europe and there's not a single death penalty. What do you expect them to say? Oh, sorry, you had a heart attack last year, Mr. Carl, but since you had one last year, we're not going to treat you for this heart attack because the panel has refused your care. On a side note, you kind of already have that in America. You just have it through the insurance companies because guess what they do? Decide not to cover you. They say, it's a pre-existing condition. I don't think you can do that anymore, but they'll say that, or they'll find a way to deny coverage. They'll make it so high to cost to do it that you have to do it out of pocket. And guess what? Now you're bankrupt. So that loops right back to number 1. How are you free if you have to live with the pressure of going bankrupt and not being able to pay your bills? Because guess what? You have the audacity to break your hip, get sick. I don't know. You pick it. So those are the 5 things that I think that the United States lies or misleads its people on purpose to further whatever big business or whatever political agenda that they have to the people. I'm going to leave you with a bonus one, which is kind of strange if you look at it. Because number 6 is this. In America, every day, all students around the nation get up every morning and say the Pledge of Allegiance. You pledge yourself and align yourself to the United States flag and to the republic for which it stands.
That's facts.
Now, that's not something that's common in Europe. In many Western countries, I don't know of any other Western country that makes its kids get up every morning. I do know of one back in 1938, 1942-ish time. Those kids used to get up and actually pledge allegiance to their flag and to their Führer. But I don't know if that's something we should necessarily be doing. Don't get me wrong, I love my country. I'm very patriotic about it. I love the 4th of July for all my country is never perfect, but I think it can get better. But that's mine. Hit me in the comments. Tell me what you...
Let me know in the comments how y'all feel about this video. Do y'all think that this is facts? Do you think that, yeah. So, hey, hit the like button, that sub button. I love y'all. Oh, yeah.